Oh, hello, and welcome to an limited Adhesion live stream. It's the first time for me and Mark, and
Yes, hello, we are back. Apologies for completely missing the intro. Some slight technical difficulties on our end, but yes, we are back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, not only are we back, it is your favourite commentating duo. Unfortunately, weren't available. Yeah, Gareth and Jules decided not to do this one. Jules, I think, is getting drunk in an alley somewhere, and Gareth said that he was not ever going to talk about these effing tin tops again. So you're stuck with us for the time being. We'll be here with you for the next hour or so as we talk through the limit of adhesion, endurance round 5 it is. So yeah, my name's Mark, and joining me in the commentary booth is Steve. So Steve, how you doing?
yeah, I'm good, thanks, Mark. It's fantastic to be here again, Mark. I'm loving it.
Indeed.
Loving it. It's brilliant. Here it's Interlagos again.
Indeed. So as we come towards the end of the summer break, we are going to be watching back over the last endurance round before the summer break, which is at Interlagos. So Steve, tell me about Interlagos. Do you like it? What's it like? Oh, we got
Do you know, it's my lovely. I really like the track. It's a typical Formula One track, and do you know I'm lost for words. Absolutely lost for words at the minute.
Yeah, it's a good fun track. It's one that, to be honest, I always struggle with because it's quite high altitude, which means very low downforce. Track can sometimes be quite slippery. It's a very technical middle section, and you've got that really, really long final sector where you get on power once, and then that's it for what feels like the next 20 minutes until you reach the braking zone into turn 1. So yeah, so I'm hoping that at some point we will get the grid standing or the standings before the race up on the screen. Well, in fact, no. Or are we going straight to the grid? Yes, we're going straight to the grid. So we've got Lucas Sipula on pole position for the Wizards Fire Ruby team, with Matt Hansel joining him on front row. Ollie Ettridge and Joshua Martinez round out row 2, followed by Stephen Hurd and Philip Fox, Charles Vasquez and Zachary Liebold, Patrick Runge and Luke Sloots on row 5. Clayton Buller, and I missed who was in P12, but then we've got Timon Sloots, Carl Hudson, David Ward and Rich Meesters, Stephen Maxwell and Mark Kelly, Zhao Tome and Merin Hugavine round out the top 20. With Mark Innis in P21, Daniel M. Bond in 22nd, Matt Pearce in 23rd and Neil Todd in 24th. James Renwick in 25th, James Pepper in 26th, giving us an all James row 13, and then Chris White and Steve Pepper in 27th and 28th.
Just had to apologise. And I had 2 of you and 2 of me in my ears, and I've got rid of the other 2, and I'm back to just us. So it's fantastic again.
The thing is, Steve, I didn't hear those voices at all, so I'm just wondering, are they all in your head? Are you actually schizophrenic?
I'll ask the other Steve Pepper, and I will get back to you in about 10 minutes. The important thing is the tablets are working, and he's disappeared.
Brilliant. So as we join this Steve now in the commentary booth, as we watch the cars go around the final corner, down the back stretch, and this is going to feel like forever for the drivers as they slow down to what feels like a crawling pace behind the safety car. As they come around the final corner, the safety car will peel into the pits, and it will be Lucas Sipula who will lead the field to green. It's a little bit foggy out on track at the moment, Steve.
It is, yeah. I don't think it was foggy at trackside, but it does look a little bit foggy in the replay there, though.
Yes, and we are away, and we are racing here once again at Interlagos. Matt Hansel jumping straight up into the lead, getting the better of Sipula into turn 1. And while we've got Rich Meesters there in 17th, he's jumped up to take the lead in the bronze class. Meanwhile, Zach Leopold takes the lead in silver, followed closely by Philip Fox. Will there be drama into turn 4? There is. We've got Carl Hudson round already. There is Mark Kelly spinning in the background, and he took out... there was someone else that is involved in that as well. That looks like Innis has gone off as well.
That was a green camel. Yeah, definitely green camel there.
Very unfortunate, as we see back with Rich Meesters. He's had a brilliant start. He's got quite a few cars now between him and second place in bronze, Matt Pierce, as he is now fighting with Merin Hugovin. And Merin getting so close to Rich's rear end.
It looks as though Josh Martin has had a bit of an incident there as well. He fell right down the field. He's down just behind James Pepper now.
Yes, he's down 17 spots. That's going to be very painful for him.
Yeah, big loss.
And we'll see how well he can recover during the race. He's a quick guy, is Josh. So yeah, I'm sure he'll be able to recover well. As we see Carl Hudson also down 12, so I'm not sure if something... Oh yes, of course, he spun at turn 4, didn't he? As we see, a flash of the lights there from Ollie Ettridge as he goes up the inside of, I think that was Vasquez. And as we see, Cipula now is down 4. As we see, I'm not sure who that was blinking slightly. That was Stephen Hurd, I think.
Yeah, it looks as though Charles and Ollie have had a bit of an incident as well in that centre S.
They have indeed, because they've both now dropped right down the order. As we see, there is Charles Vasquez running wide at turn 4, and I think that was Ollie Ettridge having spun at turn 4. It was indeed the orange Porsche for Risky Racing.
And there's Philip Fox there as well. He obviously had a bit of an incident there at that corner.
These guys seem to be dropping like flies at the moment. We've had, 5 or 6 cars involved in incidents in the first lap and a half. As we see Mark Kelly there with no front end. Still desperately trying to be the better of the marks as he dives down the inside of Mark Innis, who had a little bit of a wobble. We see now Patrick Runge in the chrome McLaren. I have to admit, that is a very nice livery, very reminiscent of the old Vodafone McLaren Mercedes Formula 1 liveries, sort of 2007 to 2009 era.
To spin you out.
And from one McLaren to another sort of McLaren, we've got Chris White there having an unfortunate spin. We did hear someone on the radio apologising, but I didn't catch who that was.
I think that may have been Joshua Martinez, but I'm not 100% sure. It was definitely American accent there.
It was American, yeah.
It just seemed to be an unfortunate coming together there. Maybe just at that. Oh, we have an incident there.
Salutes. He's into the wall once, twice, and he's
That's
spinning
a big
across
off.
the track.
Yeah, it looks very bent at the back as well, does that?
Yeah. As he starts to get the power down, the rear end does not look happy.
No, he would have been better. It would have been better, wiser to tow, I think, rather than try to get back to the pits.
So as we see now here with these lot, Clayton McBuller, Russell Bright and Stephen Hurd having a nice old battle for 5th. Luke Sloots is just ahead of them in 4th. And here we are back with Patrick Runge with that glorious chrome livery.
I think the drivers seem to have settled down a little bit now. It's the tyres are getting warm, so I know the tyre physics have been changed on these cars, and it does take a lap or two to get them in the window for racing. So I think maybe that was a cause of some of the incidents and accidents that we saw in the first 1 or 2 laps. So fingers crossed that these guys can now settle down and get in some real serious racing.
Certainly the top 2 having broken away slightly. Hansel and Cipula are now a good 5 seconds clear of Leopold, who is in 3rd and is currently leading the silver championship, whilst also getting an overall podium, which is an absolutely fantastic result if he can stay there until the end of the race. It is a full 1 hour race, of course, 'cause. So strategy will come into play as the race progresses. As we see Timon Sloots also having made a visit to the pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, the standout driver at the moment would be Zach Leopold. A great effort there. On the podium as a silver driver, there he is. He's looking really well for a podium. He's just got to keep it in the window and keep it nice and steady and straight.
Yeah, I think as much credit as possible does go to Zach, but also a lot of credit has to go to that amazing Mustang. I mean, just listen to it. You just can't help but smile when you hear that Mustang. It's glorious. And then we go on board with an Acura, and it's like a lawnmower or something like that. A little blender.
Let's have a look at this.
Listen to that. Absolutely glorious.
Wonderful sound.
Oh, it really is. And I mean, yeah, the driver's not half bad as well, but that Mustang.
A bit of a bromance there for Mr. Innis.
Oh, of course. Of course, a little known fact, Zach Leopold and I are actually teammates in the European Sports Car Championship. So I do know Zach relatively well. And yeah, he's a good guy, quick driver. As can be seen from the fact that he's third at the moment. Is dropping back slightly from the two gold drivers up at the front, but of course Hansel and Sipula are both rapid drivers as well. As we see now, that was a quick shot of Josh Martinez, who's now up to 11th place, so he's made rapid progress through the field after that first lap incident. And Martinez now tucked up behind Patrick Runge. As we see now Clayton McBuller for the No Problema team. Of course, all racing under the wider Formulama umbrella. So these drivers now come towards the end of Sector 2, starting Sector 3, of course, with that one braking zone, and then the race to get back on throttle as quickly as possible and keep that throttle pinned to the floor as you come round the final corner, up the back straight, past the pit entry, and across the line. Of course, there is no rule in this series about having to stay wide of the pit entry line. Those drivers can feel free to cut as much as they like, unless, of course, they are, in fact, pitting, in which case they do need to respect the white line.
But just taking a look down the grid there, Mark, you've got in the battle for silver, for the silver grade drivers, we've got Zachary Bold obviously leading there, with Russell Bright. He's hard on his heels there in 6th place overall. And then followed that was João Tome and Daniel Bond. And they're just seems like they're having a big battle themselves. And then for bronze, we've got Matt Pearce having taken over the lead of bronze from Rich Meisters, who must have had a bit of an incident. Excuse me. Followed by James Pepper. So Richard Meisters in 16th overall, and then Steve Pepper in 4th place in bronze, with Neil Todd right behind him as well.
So yeah, so we've got the top 3 in bronze are actually relatively close together on track. Rich Meisters having gotten ahead of Matt Pearce just then. I think Matt might have made a little mistake. That promotes Rich back up to 2nd in class, 15th on the road, just behind James Pepper. And in fact, the two of them now only separated by 0.4 of a second or so. So yeah, that'll definitely be a fight to watch. Pepper now just falling back very slightly from the trio of drivers ahead of him on track. Of course, Pepper leading bronze class at the moment, so he doesn't need to be fighting those drivers. All he needs to do is have his eyes solely focused on Meisters behind him, because that is the battle for the bronze podium. Or sorry, the bronze lead, not just the bronze podium. Meisters now all over the back of Pepper like a rash. Meisters tucked up in the slipstream now. He will maybe have a look into turn 4, but he might be a little bit too far back. Yeah, just a little bit too far back to capitalise. But he'll tuck in behind Pepper. Because this section that we're in now is getting rather tricky to overtake. It's fairly tight and twisty, this section. So Mises will be focusing on keeping close to Pepper and trying to get a good exit out of the final corner and down across the start-finish line, which is probably going to be the next available overtaking spot.
Yeah, it looks as though Matt Hansel's made a bit of a break at the front as well, because he's now nearly 3 seconds in front of Lucas Stipler. And obviously, I mean, there's some great battles down the field. There's Clayton McBullough with Merrin Hoogeveen right behind him. There's only 3/10 behind him there. It's actually going to be a real run to turn 1.
Yeah, Merrin Hoogeveen's had a nice, decent fight through the field, starting 20th, and he's now up to 8th in just 7 laps. So yeah, that's nice first few laps from him. And he's now right behind Formula Armour, staring at the rear end of Clayton McBullough. I'm sure there's an innuendo in there somewhere.
Don't mention tea bags.
Indeed. So as we see now, at the head of this little battle, we've got Russell Bright, who is second in the silver class, also in the Mustang. So yeah, Mustang's going well for the silver drivers. And of course getting extra points because they sound so flipping awesome. I don't know if I've mentioned that, Steve. How good the Mustang sounds.
Just once or twice. I must admit, I'm looking forward to the. If anybody hasn't seen the dev blog for iRacing that's just come out, take a look. It's some real information in there, and there's an absolute cracker coming out. It's the Aston Martin GT3. Oh, that's Pepper off to the side.
That is so.
Oh, and he's round.
Oh, and he's going for a spin. Oh, that's unfortunate for Pepper. He's obviously overheated those rear tyres.
Yeah, just gets out of the way.
Yeah, gets out of the way. He'll make a nice safe rejoin, I'm sure, and has unfortunately lost a few spots. Yeah, that's unfortunate for Pepper. That now promotes Matt Pierce back up into the lead of bronze, so we're not quite sure what happened there, but Pierce has got ahead of Meesters. Meesters was right over Pepper's rear end, but yeah, has dropped behind Pierce somehow. Not quite sure what happened there. Matt Pierce is having a good race, actually. He's up 9 spots.
Yeah, he's doing really well, he's Matt. Obviously, Neil Todd has also passed Steve Pepper, where we were watching this battle here. And just for information, the Mustangs are actually in 3rd, 5th, and 9th. So they're doing really well. There's a good track for good car for this track and combination. So yeah, doing really well.
And most importantly, as Steve was mentioning in the iRacing dev blog, we do also have the Mustang GT4 coming to iRacing. So yeah, in case you hadn't noticed, I'm kind of a fan of Mustangs. As we see Philip Fox in the BMW going for a little spin. And I think I can speak for everyone when I said, had he been driving the Mustang, that wouldn't have happened. God, this turning into a proper Mustang love stream, isn't it?
I'm not a big Mustang fan myself.
Oh,
This sounds great, but the car for me just doesn't go.
Oh yeah, it's an awful car to drive, but it sounds amazing. As we see, Merrin Hoogeveen has now got past both Clayton McBullough and Stephen Hurd and is now up to 6th. So yeah, brilliant start for Hoogeveen.
Now, Steve Pepper's passed Neil Todd to make it onto the podium for bronze now again.
He has, although it's still a long way to go. And of course, with Pepper Jr. having dropped down to, was that 5th in class, and has now dived into the pit lane. So with an early pit stop, we will see if he can recover.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can actually get to the end with the fuel that he's going to take on as well, whether it's going to have to do a bit of a splash and dash, or we can save the fuel to get into the end.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And we've got Josh in the chat saying fun battle with David coming up. So Yeah, we'll have to see if maybe we can sweet talk our producer into showing us that battle. But we've got David Ward and Josh Martinez right next to each other on track, and they are in fact in this little train of cars right now. You can see the purple Mustang in the back is David Ward, followed very closely by Josh Martinez in the AITT car. There we go, yeah, AITT Revolution E-Racing Audi, not McLaren, what am I saying?
Nearly slipped up there.
Nearly. So Josh Martinez now in 10th, hot on the heels of Wardy for 9th. So yeah, we will keep an eye on this battle.
Does the Audi still try to murder people? Or is it fairly stable now?
That depends if it's got its meds sorted out.
Well, if it's not the same meds as me, it's going to be pretty difficult.
So Martinez there, do close right up under braking onto Wardy, but not quite close enough to make a challenge for the fight. And again, now we're getting into this nice twisty section, and it is possible to put a move on through this section, but it requires probably the driver in front to make a little mistake. It requires you to be very brave on the brakes. And yeah, as we see, Martinez now just tucking up behind Wardy. Will not do anything too sensible, just has a little peek out, just fills Wardy's mirrors. Just as we see Martinez still unable to get past, and now this is the crucial corner. He'll get late on the brakes.
Sorry,
Get it stopped, get it turned,
that,
and we've got a little issue for Meesters. And Rich, it sounds like Rich came together with another driver as we go back on board with this battle. Wardy versus Martinez. As we get a message from Josh in the chat saying that the Audi bit him at Watkins.
Well, nevertheless.
Well, to be fair, I do
I'm
hear
sorry,
that
I
Josh
didn't mean
was
that.
bathing in gravy just
Seemed like
before
you
the
picked a little
race.
earlier, and I
And
just
the
wasn't
Audi is a bit of a
expecting it,
carnivore, so kind of on you there, I'm afraid, Josh, for, you know, if you, to be honest, if anyone bathes in gravy, just asking for it, aren't you?
There was a little bit of a swapping of opinions, I think, there from Rich and whoever it was that had collided with him. Yeah, I think it's a bit of an unfortunate thing. That would obviously go to the stewards, and they'll sort it out. Or the steward now, as it is with Jules.
Yes.
And he'll be able to sort it out. And yeah, fingers crossed. It was nothing more than just a slight racing incident. But I'm sure that with the wider community will have their say as well.
Oh, and Martinez
inside.
He's got the overlap on Wardy. He'll have the outside into this next corner. Will he be able to go right around the outside? He's hanging it out there. That'll give him the inside for the next corner, and more crucially, it'll give him the inside for that final corner. That's so important. Oh, little
collision.
touch by Wardy.
Well, he's really going.
Martinez flying. Oh, he got a lot of air there.
He did, and I thought he was going to collect Mr. Buller there, and there's another one spinning.
That's Patrick Runge in the nice chrome McLaren.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate contact between the two. Wardy looked like he got a little bit wide, just lost the rear end slightly, and as he was gathering it up, just tapped Martinez slightly, and that was enough to send Martinez almost to the Shadow Realm. But great shame, but Martinez in that only lost one position.
Hello, David. Bye, David.
As we see now, Runge, Ward and Kelly all taken to the pit lane.
That's a very bent car there.
Yeah, Kelly's still without a front end, so I can't imagine his lap times would have been particularly fantastic. As we see Wardy now on pit exit.
Yeah, I think Wardy had actually got a rear end that was slightly damaged, so he's obviously gone into the tyre wall of the barriers, knocked his rear wing off, so straight into the pits, get it repaired. Obviously there's a fast repair on each of these races, so he hasn't lost very much time. Fingers crossed, if he's refueled, he'll be able to get to the end as well.
Got compliments from Josh Martinez in the chat saying that he liked our reaction to that. Well, what can I say? I aim to please. If there are any more dramatic moments in the race, I'm sure I will also scream like a little girl like I did just then.
The boys are back.
The boys are back indeed. Right, so where were we? We are on board with, rather, we are following Carl Hudson, also for Revolution E Racing, who is Josh Martinez's teammate, as we see Martinez now diving into the pits. So yeah, I do wonder if he got a little bit of damage as he was quite literally flying across the track.
Yeah, he probably got a bit of aero damage as well for the collision with Wardy, and then obviously he's skinned across the track, so his tyres will be extremely hot. So yeah, probably best to dive in the pits and take on new boots and get the repairs done so he's not losing anything down the straight.
Meanwhile, Matt Pearce has also taken to the pit lane, so that means, again, all change up at the front in the Bronze Championship with Rich Meesters now re-inheriting the lead. He did start on pole in Bronze and led the first lap or so before an incident that we missed put him down. He's never been outside of the podium position, so yeah, good, strong showing from Meesters.
Unfortunately, Chris White looks like he's showing as though he's out, so unfortunately there's a no finish there, DNF for Chris White, unfortunately. That's a shame.
That is a big shame, yeah. So as we see the front runners going around to complete lap 14 and start lap 15 of the race. We are a third of the way through the Grand Prix so far.
Would you believe that?
Not in the slightest.
Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? Time also flies when you're watching cars go around in circles.
I've missed this.
Oh, I've missed it too. It's good to be back.
Oh, definitely. So where have we got to now? We're looking at Clayton McBullough there. He's definitely not Scottish. Definitely not Scottish. So we'll let him off
llama,
this one.
So yeah, Clayton McBullough staying in 7th as we see Patrick Runge going for a spin. And yeah, I'm sorry, Patrick, but that silver bit on the barrier, yeah, you want to avoid that. I know it's the same colour as your car, so he's probably thinking, oh, friend. But no, you want to keep it on the grey stuff, on the tarmac.
No, it's mate.
Okay, he got it facing the right way again, and he will proceed with very warm tyres. So he'll have to be careful not to spin again, as we see Clayton McBullough again taking that wide line through there.
So I'll just give a quick rundown of where we are at the moment. So leading is Matt Hansel, followed by Lucas Sipula. And we got Zachary Leopold in that prime place for silver. And then we've got Luke Sloot, followed by Russell Bright. And we've got Stephen Hurd, Clayton McBullough in 7th, Jiao Tomei 8th, Merrin Hugavin worked his way now 11 places to 9th, and Daniel Bond in 10th. That's your top 10 at the moment.
Indeed. As we see now, still on board with Clayton McBullough. He's not letting Stephen Hurd go, actually. Up there, they're having a good fight for 6th, 7th, and that's
Patrick off again.
And Patrick off again. Now the car, again, clearly decided, oh, silver barrier. But Patrick, that time, managing to just about correct it and keep it on the black stuff. And yeah, he needs to remember that his tyres will be stupidly hot right now.
It looks as though Patrick's got magnets in the front of his car.
Well, it certainly looks like it with that nice, bright, shiny chrome. See, James Renwick up into 14th, up 11 spots.
Yeah, it's great to have James back. He was missing for a season or so, and it's fantastic to have James back. It's really good to see him on the track and battling there with Steve Pepper.
And most importantly, having met both James Renwick and Steve Pepper, I can say, what a lovely pair of guys.
Thank you very much, sir. And there's James there, the all black. Is that a bit as a BMW, isn't it?
It's a Beamer, yeah. A slightly crunched Beamer. He's obviously been in the wars somewhat. As we see Pepper just behind all over Renwick. We'll see if Pepper can get a good exit out of this final corner down the back straight. We're certainly close enough, and they've got Charles Vasquez just behind as well, who's going to be very quick and wanted to try and clear this traffic soon. Vasquez, of course, started way further up the order, down 9 positions, so we know he's quick. He's got to try and get past. As we see, rejoining this battle, we've got João Tomé now joining. Clayton McBuller's gotten ahead of Stephen Hurd, and having said that, Stephen Hurd's trying to get back. He'll have the outside into this next corner, so that's not really going to work. And he's opened the door there for Tomé. Tomé's stuck to the inside. He's going to have the inside for the next corner. Can he be late on the brakes? Yes, he can. And that looks like Hugavin did have a look as well. And so close to the back of Hurd as well. As
Sorry,
see
Matt,
Philip
I thought you were
Fox,
going left, mate. Sorry about that.
Having
Just trying to go
a
anyway.
little spin.
Yeah, Stockford's fine. All good.
And a little bit of conversation between the drivers there. But as you heard, all is
Yeah, I'm
good.
just trying to give you the inside line, dude.
So rejoining this battle up ahead. Nice tight midfield battle. We've got Clayton McBuller from João Tomé, from Stephen Hurd, from Marin Hugavin. Hugavin will want to try and get back to the front of this train. Hugavin had a very good first sort of 8 to 10 laps or so. Progress has now stalled slightly as he got up to that top 10 position. He's struggling to fight his way through these faster drivers.
Yeah, and with it being teammates as well, you don't want to start taking your teammates off. So it's a more measured approach to where you're going to attempt to move, or you're not going to dive down the inside and risk the wrath of your wizard teammates.
No, exactly.
Banished to the tower.
Well, having said that, Stephen Hurd then immediately getting out of the way and letting Hugavin past. So Hugavin will now have eyes focused on Tomé's rear wing. Tomé, of course, is a silver driver, so not directly fighting Hugavin. Hugavin is, of course, now 5th in class. So yeah, he's
Although-
a good recovery.
Yeah, all drivers do score in the overall championship, so it's important that these silver drivers that are certainly scoring good points are going to be staying there for the overall championship,
yeah.
as well as their own silver championship.
As we see now, a new fastest lap of the race for Matt Hansel with a 32.6. He's a good 0.6 of a second quicker than anyone else on that last lap. And he is, in fact, the only driver into the 32s. So yeah, he's absolutely smashing it out front, and not in the unfortunate way for a racing driver. He's smashing it in the good way.
Yeah, I mean, he's eked out another few seconds. You know, he's now nearly 6 seconds in front of Lucas, who in turn is about 8 seconds in front of Zach. So those gaps are staying fairly stable at the moment, but obviously they're big chunks of time to claw back, especially when they're so close on time with their lap times.
We've got a request from Jules to move Matt Hansel up to platinum.
Yay! Have we got a platinum now?
Well, I mean, I'm just the commentator. I don't actually have any real power. But yes, I say Matt Hansel is now a platinum driver. So that puts Lucas Sipula up to the lead of the gold class.
We can make one. Fantastic, that's it. There we have now got a premium platinum edition. Boss says so.
Indeed, nice to have some live chat from Jules off. And yeah, if you are also watching and want to chat along, pop some messages in the live chat.
Thank you, James.
And we will maybe ignore them. We might answer them.
At least
As
we can
we-
see them now.
Yes, indeed. As we approach half race distance, lap 20. As we see James Pepper now. So James Pepper has, of course, pitted, I believe. We saw that
Yes.
fairly early pit, so assuming he can make it to the end of the race, he should only move forwards.
He'll be hoping so, certainly.
So he is now a lap down, but the drivers around him are in the gold, are in the gold and silver classes, are the front-running drivers and are yet to make their pit stop. So hopefully Pepper can focus, get his head down. If he can stay close to these front-running drivers, that'll put him in a good spot for towards the end of the race when they peel into the pit. Back with Clayton McBuller now, as we rejoin this fight for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. These drivers covered by a second and a half or so, as we see Matt Hansel, our only platinum driver in the field, setting yet another fastest lap of a 32.4. In the past couple of laps, he's got that gap up now to 7.7 seconds. Guy's in a class of his own, both
Literally.
on track and in the standings. Tell you what, if we're making our own sort of new classes, there's a guy now in 21st, Mark Innis. Can we put him in a class of his own?
In which class do you want to go in? We've got platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. So where's Mr. Innis going?
He can go in the Mark class.
The Mark class. Well, we've got 2 Marks, so does Mark and Mark go in there?
Yeah, there we go. We can have battle of the Marks.
We've got plenty of Steves and Stevens.
Yeah, they can have their own class as well.
Yeah.
So in fact, who's leading the battle of the Stevens? We've got Stephen
Stephen Hurd.
Hurd.
Yeah. Oh, that's a given. I mean, he's gold. He's a gold Stephen. We've got a
We've
bronze
got
Steve, and we've got Stephen Maxwell
Stephen
as well.
Maxwell,
So.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 2 gold Steves and a bronze Steve. And that's all the Steves. I thought we had more Steves.
I think we did, but I think obviously with the field being slightly truncated, I think we've lost a couple of Steves or Stevens.
Well, maybe we'll get more Stevens back for the next race. If you are a Stephen and you are watching this video, you are more than welcome to join us.
Or a Mark.
Or a Mark. Or, in fact, you know what? I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it. No matter what your name is, we will maybe accept you.
There's some really close battles here. The lap times are very, very close, certainly towards the top. I mean, there's only tenths of a second between all these drivers. We see Daniel Bond going to the pit lane.
Indeed, that's a relatively early pit stop. And Rich Meester's
Rich
dived
Meester,
the pit
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Josh is saying that Stephen also leads the Audi class. Which Stephen is that? That would be Stephen Hurd. Is he in the Audi?
But apparently, I've had a whisper in my ear. Apparently, it's Stephen Maxwell.
Oh.
There he is. Yeah, definitely.
Yep,
Is that
he's
the Audi?
most definitely in an Audi.
Yes, definitely.
Yep. As we go back to Clayton McBuller, still locked in this battle for 6th with Zhao Tomei. Hugavin, after getting past Hurd, this trio has dropped Hurd very slightly. It's still relatively close. But yeah, the battle is definitely between Clayton McBuller and Zhao Tomei at the moment. As you see Neil Todd there just behind Josh Martinez. Martinez, of course, having made his compulsory pit stop, and is now charging back through the order. And Pepper now leading the bronze class. So we've had Meesters and Pierce have both pitted. Pepper is yet to pit, so he will drop back when he makes his pit stop. We'll have to see whereabouts he comes out. Yeah, he's up to 13th now, up 15 spots. So yeah, good race there so far for Pepper. As we see Liebold in the Mustang.
The James Renwick in the pits now. They're all starting to trickle in at this just over halfway point of the race.
So obviously the optimal strategy, if everything goes well, is to fill the tank up with fuel, start with a full fuel tank. That's a mouthful to say after a couple of glasses of wine. And then run until your fuel tank is empty, and then stop for as little fuel as you can get away with. Obviously, that's not always the best strategy in practice. We've seen quite a few drivers take damage and have to pit early. You do get a fast repair in this. So if you do get damage, your race is not over. You can make that early pit stop, fix the damage, and get back out on track and try and recover the time that you've lost. As we see now, Martinez tucked up behind. That is Dan Bond. Ettridge in that lovely orange Risky Racing. I quite like the livery on that one. It was sort of like it wasn't a proper orange. It was like that sort of, it's something sort of metallic sort of colour. Quite nice.
Yeah,
it's like that.
It's like a burnt orange, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah. It's like a coppery sort of colour.
Yeah. I had a Kia with that sort of colour.
You had what, sorry? A Kia?
I had a Kia with that sort of colour, yeah, burnt orange.
Oh, very nice. It's a very nice colour. As we see now, Neil Todd on the back of David Ward. So Wardy has actually had his pit stop, and Neil Todd has not. So Todd, of course, will be a little bit lighter. Might feel like he's being slightly held up by Wardy. But actually, having looked at the timing screens, it looks as if Wardy made his way past Todd on that lap.
Yeah, it's 1.2 seconds quicker, so maybe Neil Todd was in the pits, or maybe made a mistake.
So yeah, Todd's not been through the pit lane as far as we can tell. So yeah, maybe it was a mistake. Maybe he just decided that Wardy is not his battle. Just decided to move over and let Wardy past. Either way, we've got Martinez now having cleared that traffic. He's got a few seconds of clear track. Steve Pepper is the next car in his eye line at the moment, and Pepper and Hudson in front of him are yet to pit. So yeah, after a promising start in qualifying, that unfortunate incident for Maxwell has dropped him down the order, and he seems to be recovering well. As we see Luke Sloots, he's had a fairly quiet race, to be honest. He's up there in fourth.
He has, very quiet.
He's got his head down, kept quiet, and been pumping in those decent lap times. 33.1 last time round. Not quite at the level of Hansel in the 32s, but other than that, he's one of the quickest drivers out on track.
Yeah, I mean, there is a when you look down at Russell and Zhao Tome as well, there's only a couple of seconds between them two, so the battle for the podium places, second and third, he's really hotting up there. I don't think either of them have pitted, so yeah, it's looking really interesting.
And Russell, of course, and I cannot stress the importance of this next part, Russell Bright is in the Mustang.
And there he is in the Mustang.
There he is. And let's just listen to the glorious V8. Oh, there we go. On board with Russell Bright.
Yeah, remember Russell was unluckily taken out at Watkins Glen as well, so he'll be determined to right the wrongs of that race as well. So any points he can get there, he will be really, really determined to hang on.
Of course, yeah. So in fact, yeah, that's two Mustangs on the silver podium.
Yeah, first and second.
Clearly the superior car. As we see, here is the other Mustang on the grid, David Ward. 16th after that earlier incident with Martinez. But of course, he's made his pit stop. He's now just 3 seconds behind Martinez. And will be definitely putting the pedal to the metal to try and catch back up. He does have a car in between, the car of Dan Bond. Of course, with Ettridge just behind. Ettridge is another ridiculously quick driver that was involved in an incident at the start and will be attempting to make his way through the field. Ettridge, in fact, is showing us having 3 stops. If that's accurate, that's an incredible drive from Ettridge to have 3 stops and still be in a relatively competitive position at this stage in the race. 20 minutes to go, of course.
So Claire and McBuller in the pit lane now. We're stopping for fuel and possibly tyres. I'm not sure whether the drivers will be taking tyres for this race, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's a tricky call for tyres. Of course, if you do take tyres, that will benefit you towards the end of the race, but as soon as you leave the pits, they will be absolutely stone cold. You will have absolutely no grip, and it will take you a good few laps to try and get some heat into them, which means that obviously if you're trying to form the undercut on someone, the tyres are not the way to go. So we see David Ward just peeked to the inside of Dan Bond. Didn't manage to get the move done though. Dan Bond in the McLaren will be putting that power down. Wardy with the superior Mustang gets a good drive out of turn 3, pulls to the inside. Will he be late enough on the brakes to get it done into 4? Or will he do a Verstappen and run Bond wide? Nope, he gets it stopped. He gets to the apex. Bond does get the cutback though, but he will have the outside into the next corner. Will he be able to go right around the outside? This is going to be a tough move. He hangs it out there, you know. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be quite good enough. He's got a tricky couple of corners with the outside, and Ettridge looks like he might be able to take advantage. And in fact, Ettridge does take advantage, going to the outside, pinning the throttle down and getting the move done. So yeah, very opportunistic move there by Ollie Ettridge.
Yeah, Wardy just prized the door opener there, and Ollie took full advantage and skipped on the inside where once the door was open and Dan couldn't shut it, there was nothing he could do. That's Mark Kelly just making a rejoin there. You know, obviously had a bit of a excursion onto the grass. Well, he's looking for goats again.
Surely they'd be up the mountains.
We never forget.
As we see Josh in the chat congratulating Wardy on making that move. I definitely agree, that was good racing. And yeah, good from Ettridge as well to capitalise on that little mistake there from Bond. Very unfortunate for Bond losing 2 positions in almost as many corners. But of course, Bond is a silver driver, not a gold. So although they are fighting each other in the overall standings, they are not fighting each other for the silver championship. So if we take a look up the front now, we can see that Sipula is now just about dipping into the 32s. He's dropped to 10 seconds back from Hansel, though. Hansel is just in a league of his own at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely blitzed this one at the moment. Unless there's a drastic mistake, it's in his own hands to throw it away at the moment.
Of course, we are still expecting a pit stop from those 2 up the front, so we'll see how that changes things. It's very easy to get a speeding penalty. As we see now, Ettridge has closed back up to Wardy. He's not content with getting just one llama, he needs to get them all, just like Pokemon. So we'll see if Ettridge can unleash the power of the Porsche. Not quite enough on this lap, but he will try again into turn 4. As we see, Innis now has gotten ahead of Neil Todd. Of course, they are in separate classes.
Oh, I thought that was Mark Kelly towing back to the pits.
That is, you're correct. And yeah, it looks like he is out. Looks unfortunate. I'm not sure what happened there, whether there was another incident or something happened off camera. Got a message from Josh saying that he's putting ballast in Matt's car for the next race. Well, to To be honest, Josh, I don't think that's necessary because we know that Matt's been bumped up to platinum class now, so he's in a class of his own. I think he most definitely needs some ballast for the next race. Or, to be honest, in fact, what is the next race?
Now you're asking. I don't know. I'll have to check. I shall be back. One moment.
So while Steve checks out where the next race on the calendar is, oh, Josh beat you to it. Nürburgring.
There he goes. Nürburgring. He's Googled that.
So yeah, I think it will be fair for everyone to do the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit, but Matt Hansel has to do the full Nordschleife.
It'd probably still beat us.
It probably would. So as we see Steve Pepper now into the pits, he is just leaving pit road. So we'll have to see where he ends up in the battle for the bronze podium. Rich Meesters has gotten ahead of him.
Rich has already pitted as well, so this is now for position.
It is, yeah. Neil Todd just a few seconds down the road now, having inherited the lead of the bronze class, but is still due a pit stop, which we expect to be coming any minute now. Matt Hansel, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record when I say it, but he's gone even quicker. A 32.3. There he is. I know we've spoken about him. We haven't seen him that much because he's just been all on his own, having a nice, boring race out in the front. Very reminiscent of sort of the Vettel 2013 era. Sort of towards the end of the year where he'd not necessarily start on pole position, but he'd be in there stupidly quickly, and then you'd blink and he'd be like 30 seconds down the road, and you'd wonder, what happened?
I think that.
How?
I think that car needs to go to the scrutiny as well. Have a look at the engine.
Yeah, maybe. In fact, if we can get a shot of the rear of that car, there we go. Our producer doing an absolutely amazing job. Yeah, I'm fairly sure I could see a double-deck diffuser on the back of that car. Yeah, definitely. That definitely needs to go to the scrutineer's office.
Yeah, does that engine say Mercedes F1?
Maybe, as we see Hansel now. Oh, I thought he was pitting.
Yeah, the pit lane is there, but it's also right on the racing line, so a lot of drivers will cut that so fine, and vast majority of times you will get a pit entry notification from the pit crew as you're coming around that corner. I think he's closing on Steve Pepper there as a back marker. And Steve won't be getting in his way. I'll just let him go through, to be honest.
I'm sure he will. Steve's a sensible guy. As we see now, Vasquez on the back of Hugavin. Now, Hugavin, having made that initial charge through the field, he caught up to the back of Clayton McBuller, Stephen Hurd, and Xiao Tome. He's dropped back slightly and he's now dipped into the pits. So I'm wondering if there was a little mistake there. Maybe a touch of the wall, perhaps?
Possibly.
Maybe his tyres just went off towards the end of the stint. As we see, Clayton McBuller, having made his pit stop, has now come out ahead of Carl Hudson. Marion Hugavin, after his pit stop, is just exiting, and he will be behind McBuller and Hudson, and behind Martinez as well. As we see, there is Hugavin just exiting the pit lane. And there is Martinez going past.
Neil Todd in the pits.
Neil Todd in
that
the pits.
That releases Rich Meesters into the lead of bronze, and Steve Pepper takes over on P2.
Yeah, so we'll see where Neil Todd filters out. As we see, there is Rich in the lead of the bronze. Neil Todd just exiting the pits. It'll be good if we can stay with Neil and see where he emerges. That's Timon Sloots just going past in the Acura. So yeah, Neil Todd emerges. He will probably lose that place to Timon, but they are not racing for position in the Bronze Championships. Timon is a silver driver. So Neil Todd there exiting in 3rd place ahead of Matt Pierce.
Well, there's Rich Meisters in the Cool Camel Orange, and P1 for bronze.
And we're getting a message from the admin overlord that Luke Slutz is showing as being in bronze, but he is actually he's showing as gold, but is actually a bronze driver. So yeah, that would mean that Luke Slutz would be leading bronze.
We'll have to check that out on the results and the on the screens and things, just make sure. But if that's correct, then he's way past what a bronze driver will be looking at, and maybe we should be looking at upshifting Luke into maybe silver or even gold with the top 7 there.
Maybe you can join Matt Hansel in the platinum. And speaking of Matt Hansel, he is in the pit lane, as is Lucas Sipula. We also we are now focused on Zach Leopold, who has made his pit stop. He was the leading silver driver, but after making his pit stop has dropped behind Tomei. Tomei is, of course, going to be making a pit stop relatively soon and will, of course, drop behind Leopold in the Battle of the Mustangs. Meanwhile, Leopold trying desperately to keep his 5th place, or 4th place now, on the road, but Vasquez just making his way past. Sticking with the Mustangs is David Ward in 13th. Again, having made his pit stop, it looks like just Zhao Tomei and James Renwick are yet to visit the pit lane. So yes, we have 8 minutes of the race left. Just a handful of laps for drivers to make their pit stop. It is not a compulsory pit stop, as we see Maxwell leaving the pits. But quite frankly, you won't be able to make it to the end without fueling. These cars do not have a big enough fuel tank to make it to the end.
Yeah, the last driver now to make a pit stop is James, and he's in the pits. So that's everybody stopped. And oh no, my apologies, Zhao Tomei.
I'm sure will be boxing this lap.
I would think so.
Surely he's got to box. Maxwell exited the pits in 11th. He is just ahead of Marin Hugavin. So as we see the leader now crossing the start-finish line to start lap 35.
It looks as though Charles Vasquez didn't have enough fuel to get to the end. He's literally had to have a splash and dash, and he's coming back out again.
And I wonder if Leopold knew that, and that's why he let him past.
Maybe so.
So, up at the front then, we have Matt Hansel, surprise, surprise, in the lead of the race, followed by Lucas Sipula and Zach Leopold, returning to his 3rd place position that he spent most of the race in, to be honest. He's had an absolutely fantastic race.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. I mean, to keep it in 3rd place, certainly as a silver driver and all these lads behind him that are gold, it's been a fantastic effort. Congratulations to Zach. I mean, if he's got this 5.5 minutes left remaining of the race, if he can keep it there, that's a sterling result. Really, really good.
It certainly is, yeah. This was the Ettridge now all over the back of Wardy. Will Ettridge be able to get his burnt orange Porsche ahead of the purple Mustang? We see now going ahead to Luke Slutz, the bronze driver. Now all over the back of Russell Bright for 4th place. bright in, obviously, the superior Mustang. Sloots does have a little look to the inside, but doesn't get it stopped in time. That's dropped him back slightly to... So it doesn't look like he's close enough to have a run into turn 4. But yeah, hopefully we'll keep an eye on that battle as it rages on. And we'll also like to keep an eye on this battle as well, with Ettridge just behind Wardy. Not close enough to make a challenge into turn 1, but we'll see if he can stay close enough. Maybe get a good run out of 3. Unleash that Porsche power down into 4. Doesn't look like he's close enough. Of course, this is a fairly tricky circuit with there not being too many decent overtaking spots. That's sort of turn 1, turn 4. And that's it, really, in terms of conventional overtaking spots. You can do it in the middle sector if you're brave, but yeah, it certainly requires you to be brave and potentially force the other driver into a mistake.
Yeah, I think we've seen a few overtakes where the door's been opened and a following car has got through, as Ollie did a little bit earlier. But that's just pure luck and determination.
I like what Ettridge is doing here. He's just running his usual racing line. Just trying to fill the mirrors maybe slightly of Wardy, just to make his presence known. As Wardy now is getting maybe a little bit slowed up by Hugavin. He'll want to try and make that pass soon. Hugavin had an absolutely fantastic start to the race, but he's stalled a little bit. Wardy there just looking to the inside of Hugavin. Not quite close enough to get past. And again, Wardy will be feeling like he's in a bit of a sandwich at the moment. He's got to keep his eyes in front and in his mirrors at the same time in a sort of pass or be passed scenario.
Yeah, he's very slightly defensive. He's there. He's Wardy there, just covering the inside lines like a half in, half out, just to persuade Ollie not to go down the inside. He's doing it again there, just making sure that he's not giving that opportunity to Ollie to dive down the inside.
No, certainly, but likewise, he doesn't want to be compromising his lines too much and just slowing them all down. As we see Timon Sloots having a look to the inside of... Sorry, that's Carl Hudson.
Carl Hudson, yeah.
Steve Pepper.
Yeah, that's not Steve's race. That's silver on bronze. Steve's just happy to take the back seat there and just let Carl through.
As we rejoin this battle between Wardy and Ettridge and Hugavin as well. We see, in fact, Stephen Hurd now getting passed by Vasquez. Vasquez late on the brakes and up the inside into turn 1. Vasquez, we know he is a relatively quick driver. Just had a couple of incidents this race, which is unfortunate. Wardy now still unable to find a way past Hugavin. And
that's going to be a bit of a tough pass, to be honest. I mean, everybody knows that Merrin's a quick driver, especially in these cars as well. Well versed, well practiced. And there goes Wardy down the inside, slightly. Just
not
quite make it stick.
Yeah.
No, it's
not quite late.
Ollie's got in the inside as well.
That's opened the door up for Ettridge, who does not need to be asked twice. And Ettridge now with a nose in front, and yes, he claims the apex and puts a firm grip on that position. Ettridge will now have eyes forwards, firmly locked onto Hugavin's rear end.
Yeah, I mean that was unfortunate for Wardy. He went for the pass on Hugavin, and Ollie Ettridge decided that that was the point where there was a little bit of maybe a back off from Wardy, and he was straight in there. No, once again it's opportunist and ruthless, shall we say?
Indeed, and with Ettridge now staring so intently at Hugavin's rear end, Hugavin will of course be urging Ettridge to subscribe to OnlyFans to see even more of his rear end.
Oh dear.
Now with pit pit stop strategy complete. We are now over the hour mark and approaching the end of the race. So I don't think this is white flag. I think we'll be getting white flag next time as Wardy does try and have a look at getting back past Ettridge. Ettridge is too busy driving with one hand and subscribing to the OnlyFans in his other hand. Needs to keep an eye off of his phone screen and onto his mirror. He defends well into turn 4. Wardy does have a lot more speed, but can he hang it around the outside? No, he can't.
If the video was a Ford Transit, it would be OnlyFans. Oh, that's it. It's the last lap.
It was white flag indeed, and Hansel now crossing the checkered flag to win round 5 of the Limit of Adhesion Endurance League. We see
Exactly
Zach Leopold
there.
in an excellent P3 and leading the silver class.
Yeah, congratulations, Zach, on a fantastic win there and silver. Well worth the effort. Brilliant. So now we're looking for bronze for the winner of bronze, which will be Luke Sloots. Ollie Ettridge there. There's Luke.
There is Luke. Brilliant
Congratulations.
win. Absolutely dominant win in the bronze class. As we see Hurd now crossing the line for 9th, not a good top 10 finish for him. Meester's now approaching the checkered
Mustang
flag
silver podium,
to
Russell,
take the
let's go.
win in the bronze class.
Well, Luke Sloots has got the win, but a fantastic second place there for Rich Meesters. Third place looks like it could well be Steve Pepper, so that would round out the podium. So it's Luke Sloots followed by Rich Meesters and Steve Pepper taking third.
We've got Josh Martinez in the chat saying live commentary with chat is the way to go. Great job, guys. Enjoyed. Well, we enjoyed having you in the chat, Josh. And yeah, as good as it is having live commentary, it's the live chat that makes it what it is.
That's it. That's
and
it.
more important, even more important than the live chat, it is the Mustangs. So if you're wondering which car to drive, there's only one choice. I say that as a McLaren driver. Do not practice what I preach.
So let's see the overall results there for Interlagos. With a win, we have Matt Ansel and followed by Lucas Sipula and Zachary Leopold on the podium. Then we have fourth, Russell Bright, Luke Sloots fifth, Zhao Tome sixth, followed by Clayton Buller, Charles Vasquez, Stephen Hurd and Joshua Martinez bring up the top 10. Then we've got Stephen Maxwell, Merrin Hugavin, David Ward, Daniel Bond, Mark Innis, class of his own in the marks, Rich Meesters there, and Carl Hudson and Ollie Ettridge on 18th. Then we've got 19th is Steve Pepper, Neil Todd 20th, Timon Sloots 21st, Matt Pearce, James Renwick, Philip Fox, James Pepper, and the non-finishers I think is Mark Kelly, Patrick Runge and Chris White. So that's the overall results.
And we've got a complaint in chat from a Mr. Alex Murphy saying, Matt too fast, please nerf. And to that, I think the only thing I can say is, well, Matt uses force feedback. So that's clearly the way to go.
Definitely.
See,
results.
in the silver class, we've got Zach Leopold. Zach Leopold from Russell Bright, from Zhao Tome, your top 3. Dan Bond and Mark Innis rounding out the top 5. Carl Hudson, Timon Sloots, Philip Fox, and Mark Kelly in 9th.
And just wait for bronze. Bronze we have obviously he's slightly wrong, which we'll have to investigate. Luke Sloots taking the win, followed by Rich Meesters and Steve Pepper rounding out the podium with Neil Todd, Matt Pearce, James Pepper and Chris White for bronze. So here's the championships. Overall, we have Lucas Sipula with 135 points, followed by Joshua Martinez and Oliver Ettridge, just under the 100 there. So then we got Merrin Hugavin, Alex Murphy, Carl Hudson, Blake Tovey, Clayton Buller, Stephen Hurd, Rudge School, Zachary Leopold, Charles Vasquez, Isaac Mitchell, Rob Miller, Timon Sloots, Danny Chan, John Cook, and Matt Hansel in the 18th. They got 19th, Rich Meisters, David Ward, Stephen Maxwell, James Renwick, Mark Kelly, Pete McIntyre, Chris Forrester, Sam Stott, Zhao Tome, Philip Fox, followed by Tom Malarin. It's a shock to see Tor down there. Chris Linderow, Clement Godet, Daniel Bond, James Pepper, Patrick Runge, Simon Clifton, Steve Pepper, and the rest of the drivers will be on 0 points. So Silver Championship, we've got Carl Hudson at the top with 69 points, followed by Timon Sloots, Matt Kelly, Isaac Mitchell, and Danny Chan round out the top 5. Philip Fox on 28 points, Daniel Bond on 18 points, Zachary Leopold also 18 points. So a bit of a tie there. Zhao Tome following that with Russell Brown. Russell Brown then. Oh my God. Russell Russell there with 10 points. Mike Brown and Gavin Kelly on 4. On bronze, we have Rich Meester standing at the top, but this could all change with Luke's. Oh, Luke's is actually there with 12 points, so that would change to 27. So let's go through this. We've got Rich Meesters in 64 points, but that may change because obviously the difference in points. Followed by Pete McIntyre and Steve Pepper there, up 1 place at 50 points. Sam Stott, then Neil Todd. It would be Matt Pierce, and then we would have Luke Sloot, followed by James Pepper and Chris Forrester, Chris White, Simon Dominga, James Renwick, Fabio, and then Lawrence Erin Jenkins.
All right, I think that is all we have time for. So thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you also to Steve in the commentary booth and James Pepper as the producer of this live stream. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next time. So yeah, see you later, guys.
It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. Thank you very much. Good night, all.